Alright, in today's video I'm gonna talk about everything that you need to know when you just start off doing your weighted dips, just like I did this with weighted pull-ups in the last video. If you're looking for more of these types of videos, I've got a bunch more on my YouTube channel, and I also offer some online coaching if that is what you are interested in. Now, without further ado, let's dive into this whole video, starting off with the official rules when it comes to weighted dips. Micha Schutz, a German guy that does a lot of weighted calisthenics, made a reel about this a couple of weeks ago. Probably gonna put that on screen, but these are the rules that you have to follow to make your weighted dips competition standard. You have to drop down until the top of your shoulders is below the top of the elbow, and the bottom of your belt needs to be below the top of the bar at the lowest point of the dip. It's really important to start off this video talking about these rules, because everything else that I'm going to talk about has to fit within these competition rules. Now let's talk about how to do weighted dips correctly, so talking about the correct technique for weighted dips, but I'm going to first and foremost address the elephant in this room. A lot of people look at weighted calisthenics dips and are complaining that we are not hitting full range of motion, so that we're not taking our chest and shoulders through the full range, because when we're doing our weighted dips we are leaning forward quite substantially. But you have to remember that weighted calisthenics is a strength sport. The main goal that we have as weighted calisthenics athletes is to dip as much weight as humanly possible while sticking to the depth that is required in the rules that I just talked about. So when I'm talking about the technique of weighted dips, I'm going to talk about the strength technique, not the technique that everybody else thinks we should be using, because if you do that other technique you're going to take your chest and shoulders through a much greater range, significantly reducing the amount of weight that you can dip for one single repetition. Now, we always want to start our weighted dips with our arms straight. You want to have depressed and slightly protected shoulders, and you also want to activate your core, and you might want a little bit of flexion in your hips. Now, the easiest way to ensure that you actually get into the starting position is to get into it with your arms straight. So use a box, use whatever you need to kind of elevate yourself to make sure that you can actually go into this position with your arms straight, which is going to make getting into it much easier. Now, when you're using the strength technique, initiating the eccentric correctly is absolutely crucial. What you want to do is you want to keep your shoulders depressed and slightly protracted, but you want to lean forward into the dip while performing an abdominal crunch at the same time. I even have the intention of lifting my knees up at the same time to make sure that I'm leaning forward into my dip while just dropping the weight vertically down. Now, this ensures that you go through a lot less extension in the shoulders to reach depth, meaning that your chest and delts are going through a smaller range of motion, which is going to make your dips substantially stronger. Descend until you reach the depth that is required before you're going to start off your concentric phase. So what you want to do is you want to maintain your tension in your core as you do so, because this prevents the weight from dropping as you push yourself up, making the dip a lot less effective. And that is pretty much the technique that most of us will be using when we're doing our weighted dips. Keep in mind, the whole point of this is building ourselves a stronger weighted dip, not taking our chest and shoulders through our full range of motion. Now, looking at lots of people doing weighted dips, we see that some people will slightly bend the knee, like myself when I'm doing weighted dips, but some people will keep their knees completely straight. Standpoint, the world record is done with your knees bent, but most of the top guys are using straight legs. You can argue that the straight leg technique looks a lot better, but as far as I'm concerned, it's personal preference. From my experience, I find it a lot easier to actually hit depth and lean forward into my dip when I'm keeping my legs slightly bent, once again having the intention of even lifting my knees up whilst I'm doing so. And this allows me to dip a lot more weight, a lot more comfortably whilst hitting the required depth. But if it comes to you guys, I would highly suggest you to try both and just see what works best. There is no golden standard because the only rules that are important is that you hit depth. And now let's finish off this video like we finished off the last video, talking about whether or not you should use a weight belt for your weighted dips. I'm gonna give you the exact same answer that I gave you in the last video. As far as I'm concerned, can you do weighted dips without a weight belt? Yes. Is it practical? I really don't think so. You can find weight belts for like 15 to 20 euros online, so why not save yourself the ball ache of trying to squeeze in weight plates and dumbbells between your legs? And for all of you who have the argument of they don't hold that much weight, the fact you're even asking this question probably means that you're a beginner, and when you just start out, you're gonna be fine with weight belts lifting, I don't know, 30 to 40 kilograms for your weighted dips. And that is pretty much the full video. If you have any more questions regarding weighted dips, leave them down below in the comment section. Go to my channel and watch some of my other videos on weighted calisthenics if you're very interested in this topic, and contact me for online coaching if you want me to guide you through personally customized training programs. For now, thank you guys for watching. Like and subscribe if you guys haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video. Latest.